Good evening, people. So, tonight I have a couple of subjects to talk about. This isn't going to be a super long video. It's not going to be a super in-depth video. There's just a few things that I wanted to talk about that were kind of in local news stories that typically stay out of bigger news stories. I thought it was kind of interesting because I thought maybe looking into some of that stuff to see what's going on around the country might be a little interesting for people. First of all, the first thing I have for you today is a brief screen recording I took of what it seems to be looking like they're doing with some of that COVID relief money that they happen to give millions and millions of dollars to states. Conveniently, in Iowa, it looks like they're using some of that COVID relief money to help build jails. It says furniture, using it, they're using COVID relief funds to purchase furnitures for their jail. And over here, if you look, it kind of looks like they're constructing a section of the jail with, was it with that money that's supposed to be used for COVID? Oh, they're building jails, and they're building things that go into jails, or buying things that go into jails with the COVID money. I don't know. Seems it's a little strange. In other news, they are talking about the border.
Patrol agents actually want to do their jobs better. Our Jose George takes a closer look.
Perhaps nowhere in the country is the border debate easier to understand visually than here in Yuma, Arizona. Near the border wall, you don't have to go far to find abandoned shoes. The wall is part of the visual political debate too, but gaps existed by design. Gaps the Biden administration says they're working to fix. But President Biden didn't move fast enough for the Republican governor here. So what did he do? He put shipping containers up to fill those gaps.
How the border seems to be so secure, yet we had a story, I believe yesterday it was more prevalent in the news, that a border agent had gotten killed chasing a fleeing migrant or illegal alien. In the video, he appears to be advocating for how closed off our border is. Seems to be showing that Biden is doing something about the border wall. Now, were these shipping containers already there before Biden even took office? I don't know. I don't live by the border. I couldn't tell you. But something tells me they may have already been there, and that he isn't responsible for putting the shipping containers there. I mean, somebody's going to have to look a little more into that. I'm not sure. In another report, another 7-year-old got shot in Milwaukee. So those shootings that I reported on in my last video, yeah, they're still happening. Children under the ages of 10 are getting shot from gun violence. Is this gun violence being done by same young adolescents that was in the videos that I showed last couple days ago? Or is it by younger individuals? Who's killing 7-year-olds? I would like to really know. It's getting bad out there. It's really getting bad, and people think I joke around, or they call okay dad or okay old man whenever I say be careful out there. But I feel like everyone should wish you well when you go out into the world, because it's a dice roll. Anytime you go out, anytime you leave your house and the safety of your home, it's a dice roll. And this isn't a video to be like, oh, stay in your house, shelter in place. No, I'm not saying that, because as long as you have confidence in God that he has your back and that he's with you all the time, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you die today. It doesn't matter if you die a week from now, or if you go out and get killed. You know, I always pray for grace and safety amongst everyone that I go out with. Anytime I go out into town, or I pray for it at night. You know, I'll ask God, hey, protect our family whenever we leave this property. We're no longer on this land. Please put your protection over us from the wickedness that's in this world. That's because the world is very wicked nowadays. You got 7-year-olds getting shot in the street. So in other news, they're talking about heating centers.
Warm place to go.
Christina Benzel shows you where to get warm.
Raynard Mullane finds warmth here often at Milwaukee's repairers of the breach.
I look forward to coming here, staying warm, getting out of the cold.
As the temperatures drop, the need for a warm place rises. According to the Milwaukee Continuum of Care, 2 places are designated as a warming center, St. Benedict's and repairers of the breach.
we're able to handle the crowd, and we're able to open the doors, and we're able to save those lives.
The Continuum of Care Grant Compliance Manager tells Fox 6 they aren't advertising the other 4 locations. That's because they hope more people will utilize the 211 line. It's the referral number for anyone looking to access a warming shelter. This also helps with safety, so people don't show up unannounced with potential to spread COVID and the flu.
This is just the beginning.
Repairs of the Breach Executive Director James West says they hit a record number of people already. The cold temps hit before warming centers were open citywide.
I think it just caught a lot of people off guard, and once I realized that the temperatures was going to dip like they did, I panicked myself, to be honest.
As the temperatures ahead are chilling, the doors are open here.
Right now we're getting to a little rougher temperatures around here. It's been fluctuating from decently warm, mild temperatures to cold temperatures. But now as we approach the end of December and into early January and February, I already know it's going to be cold. They seem to be putting out videos on the news about heating shelters. Oh, you can't afford your heating bill, your gas got shut off, your heating got shut off because the power blackouts happened in your neighborhood, in your area, and you don't have a wood burner to burn wood to keep your house warm. Come on down to the local warming shelter where you'll be around a bunch of drug-induced homeless people, more than likely. So leave the comfort of your home because you can't afford to pay your heating bill, or you can't heat your home because the power's out, and come down to our heating center so that you can be harassed by homeless people and strangers that don't want you there in the first place. Also, I thought it was funny because I got a little email from our energy company that serves our utility company that serves our area. What are some of the things it says to do if you can't afford your electric bill? Well, ask a family member. Ask a family member if it's real easy. It's 3 simple steps. Beg for your life and tell them that you can't afford to pay your electric bill, and that if you want to stay warm this winter, can you please pay our electric bill for us? Not to mention the oil's already ridiculous in price for heating oil in a house, so you can't afford that to begin with. Beg your family members on your hands and knees for their help paying your utility bill, because guess what? You may not be able to pay it this winter. So 3 easy steps. Send them a link out of nowhere and say, hey, can I have some money to pay this utility bill that I can't afford? Sounds like a great idea. Thanks for that suggestion, utility company. I never would have thought that would have been a way for me to ask for assistance. And also, I thought maybe when I got this email that it was going to be like, oh, there's programs by the state government or by the local government or by the federal government that you could maybe catch a break on your utility bill and they'd help pay for it. No, no. You just ask your family member. That's how you pay your utility bill, right? And if they don't pay it, then go ask the next person. If they don't pay it, go out by the next nearest BP and beg a stranger and panhandle for money to get your utility bill paid. It's a joke, man. It's a joke. This world is not in a great spot. And it seems to right now be, obviously, where we're at in society is constantly rocky and constantly unstable. But it seems to have simmered at the moment. Like, since I started making videos, it seems like things haven't got too crazy. We know that Poland's been, Ukraine's been sending missiles into Russia, all that other stuff. Okay, but when's the next big thing gonna happen? We're waiting for something big to happen before all this other stuff happens. Like, we heard about how the substations and the power stations in North Carolina got shot up, but that was just something small. What happens whenever something really big happens? Because I know it happens. It happens in cycles, right? And they do this, the people that run the show, that are manipulating our world, they do things off almost ritualistically. They do things that they don't happen back to back to back to back. Sometimes they do happen back to back, and sometimes they happen in rapid succession, and sometimes it's small things that happen in rapid succession. But rarely do they do huge things back to back. Now, I think that there's times where you can recall that they've done mass shootings like back to back. A disaster like 9/11. There was never a disaster like 9/11 that happened. 9/11 happened and nothing else really happened after that. That was that major, of that magnitude. But I'm having feelings and thoughts like almost a 9/11-esque event is going to take place here soon. I don't know when it's going to be. I don't know when exactly this is going to happen, but I can feel something in the air is just telling me that something is waiting in the shadows, that the veil is just going to get lifted and something terrible is going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be, economy crashing. I don't know if it's going to be take shelter, something, bombs coming. I don't know if it's going to be that kind of event. I don't know if it's going to be that extreme of an event. And also we know that when they do events like 9/11, that there's a purpose behind it to lead to something. So it may be a big event, but it may only just be that big event. And then there's rules that are put in place to control us further. That could be what the style is. It may not be something that's like, oh, this is a horrible event and 30 million or 100 million people are going to die. Like, it may not be like that, but it may be something significant to the point where they change the rules on us, and guess what? Our whole entire realm of reality gets switched around. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But I can feel it, and I can feel something might be happening. I'm pretty in tune with my senses. I put my trust in God, and regardless of what happens, I know that everything's going to be okay, because what are you going to do? Really, when you get down to thinking about it, the worst thing that can happen is that you cease to be alive. If you are in the right place with God, if you're in the right place with Jesus Christ, then is that really the worst thing that can happen? Is death the worst thing that can happen? Being set free, because I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I don't want to be a part of this little game that they have going on anymore. I'm opting out. I've opted out a long time ago, but now I'm like really opting out by just coming on here and saying how I feel about this whole thing and how ridiculous it is. It seems to be like, you can't live in peace anymore. Like, I just want to live in peace. I just want to grow my own food without it having to be poisoned. I want to be able to learn how to build my own house. I want to learn how to live off the land. I want to be okay. I want to be okay in my mind. I want to have skills, actual skills. Like, I know enough, but I don't know how to actually be a true God-given human. I watched a video from a YouTuber I follow. His channel is End Times Productions, and it's a video, really good video, and I think it's his latest video, unless he posted one from the last time I watched it, which was a couple days ago, about how separated humanity has came since Adam. So Adam was actually the perfect human being, and that we have devolved since then. So all that pish posh and nonsense about Darwinism and evolution and survival of the fittest, which all of that is just complete nonsense. That the powers that be use Darwinism and other theories. Smart. You're so smart if you believe that we were evolved from monkeys, and you're so smart if you think that somehow all of a sudden monkeys just learned how to read. Oh, and then you say, oh, it's not monkeys, it was some evolved form of chimpanzee / gorilla / Sasquatch. Okay, I don't care what the missing link was. We may share DNA scientifically, because everybody believes in a science, right? I've never seen a DNA of a monkey or of me in a microscope, so I really couldn't tell you whether or not we're related to monkeys or how closely we're related to monkeys. But all I know is scientists that are told, that come on to mainstream news outlets or that are big publicity, guess what? They've been bought and paid for by the same people that told you that CV was real, and that the CV jabs were safe, and that smoking back in the 50s was good for you, and that all this other nonsense. Like you're being baited by people, are being baited by these people and falling for it over and over and over again. And we wonder why our society is so screwed up, and we wonder why we're so out of touch, and we wonder why God is so distant from us. God is so distant from us because we're choosing to be distant from Him, because we're not following what He naturally had given us. And that's life, that's will, that's free thinking, that's a total and complete human being, having a real spirit, unlike these demons that are taking over this world and that are trying to control us and suppress our real God-given spirit, spiritual light, that we actually have power over them. And they're afraid of that because Satan doesn't have a long time. God has eternity. And as God's spirits, we have eternity if we choose it through Jesus Christ. Here's the thing. I always say they. I'm talking about the demonic forces. I'm talking about the demonic forces. I'm talking about the evil spirits. I'm talking the people in high places that have power that are evil. That's who they are. And they can be anything. They could be high-level government officials. They could be kings and queens. They could be prime ministers, presidents. We know they could be anybody, okay? So anyway, back to the video I was talking about. How far away we've gotten from Adam. In the video, it says that we've moved farther and farther away from Adam. Through all these generations, we've actually become less and less human, that we have less and less human DNA as we've been poisoned with chemicals and our bodies have adjusted to all the garbage that we intake in our food and our bottles of water and our bottled drinks. The wildlife, you go out in our gardens, all the chemicals that are being sprayed. Our whole world's just made up of chemicals. Like, that's all we're consuming is chemicals. And not only that, what else are they putting inside of all of our food and water and gardens and produce and whatever else? We don't know, and there's no way of really knowing because you're not the one pulling the strings. So I want people to be aware. I really want people to just think about this. Just think about it. Instead of being a hard-headed, proud, prideful-hearted individual and thinking that you're so right about the fact that evolution is real and Darwinism is real and that there's no possible way that there could be anybody that's trying to cause harm to us, and that if there is, it's really not that big of a deal. I'll get away from it. I'll get around it. That there's nothing we can do about it, that this and that. Nothing that alone I can do, because I am not a being that is meant to handle this kind of stuff on my own. Through the power of God, I can send his message and I can tell everybody that together we can change this. We can change this. We don't need to deal with it. I'll tell you one thing, if you want to deal with it, you can go ahead and deal with it. I'm not, because I'm not playing this game anymore. And this may cost me my comfortability. This may cost me my family. This may cost me my life. This may cost me anything. And at this point, I'm giving it all. I'm giving it up, because of course I'm gonna live as comfortably as I can while life is able to be comfortable. But I'm getting used to the fact that it's time to speak the truth. It's time to really put my true God-given intuition into my words and to send them out, because I no longer want to be scared to talk. I no longer want to be feeling like I'm saying things that should be reciprocated with intelligent conversation back and getting nothing. Like the radio silence, the waves have gone dark. Nobody's listening. Nobody's hearing. Nobody's paying attention. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to care. Nobody has the energy to care. I am so tired of talking to a wall what it feels like talking to most human beings. It seriously feels like talking to any other object that is not living and breathing. That's what sometimes it feels like talking to human beings. Other human beings who have a soul just like mine, probably, and are likely feeling a lot of the same emotions that I'm feeling. I'm so tired of it. We're losing our fellow men. We're losing our fellow women. We're losing all of our humanity. It needs to stop. Now I'm going deeper than I planned on going in this video. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stop it here. If you watched, thank you. I appreciate the views. I appreciate whatever I can get right now, because I know I'm starting at a very low level. I enjoy coming on here and telling you guys how I feel, and I try and have some sources and some stories ready to go. I plan on having more whenever the time comes, when news comes about and I feel like talking about it, or interesting news that appears in the headlines that I think maybe has some underlying message that isn't being talked about. Once again, thank you for watching. Pray for those that are lost. Pray for each other. Love each other. Look after each other. I'm still trying to work on myself. I'm still trying to do better. So even pray for me. Pray for my family. I'll pray for you. I'll pray for your family. And as always, go in peace.